Welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyle, community and neighborhoods. And now from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Good morning and welcome to the talk show, All Things Moore County. Dorothy's school is now officially out.
Yeah, I know.
But that doesn't mean we don't stop highlighting different events in Moore County and different things that are going on.
There's plenty of things going on.
Well, today there are 2 things going on. Yeah, we're gonna kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Uh-oh.
But there's a story behind the marriage of the 2 guests that I have at the table.
Okay.
And we're going to be speaking about Juvo MedSpa, which is on the corner of Pinehurst Avenue and 15501. If I'm not mistaken, it's right across the street from the Nissan dealership.
Yep.
And people who drive up and down have noticed a change. And that building was, to many my real estate friends, that used to be a real estate office where lots of us took continuing education. And the building itself was kind of frozen in time. There was an insurance company that came in afterwards. And today, if you walk into that building, you're in future world.
Really?
Yeah. You go in and you go, what? I'm at the wrong place. And there's a reason for that. We're going to be speaking today with Michele Lupkas. She and her husband, known as Dr. Ray Lupkas, have started a new business in town, and they're here to talk about it. But they're also here to talk about the connection and the story with Nicole Swafford, who owns a business called Complete Home Staging. And as you walk in, this building is maybe Nicole's signature work in the commercial end, and not just residential. So we're going to be talking about that and about her business. And of course, we're going to be speaking all about Juvo MedSpa. A couple of weeks ago, they had a grand opening. There was a ton of energy in that room. People from all ages, both sexes were there, men and women. And I have to tell you, I thought I was walking into Saks Fifth Avenue on Fifth Avenue in New York, and there was an exhibition going on. And the building is set up in different compartmentalized rooms where there are different processes that go on. And why is it, and I have to ask you, both of you, why is it that the women always get dressed up so much more than the men when they go to events like this? The men look so pedestrian, and the women were all stunning. What's up with that?
No, we need to bring back Coco
Nicole?
Chanel is what needs to happen. No, I think that for women, I don't know. I think a lot of us, I'm speaking as a mom of 3, we don't get an opportunity to really get dressed up very often.
Right.
Because it's not like you're putting on a beaded gown when you're
That's
steaming
true.
the floor.
That's true.
So it's like it's a chance for you to just get dressed up. And I think that question almost encompasses the whole aspect of what Juvo MedSpa stands for.
Okay.
It's like a chance to almost reinvent yourself. And that's what I really like about the space. But I think that's why. And I feel like the men are catching on because there's so many male procedures that are being done in there that are for the same reason that women go, but are really catered more towards a man. We're going to see them getting out of their khakis and their golf shirts and dressing up a little bit more.
That's what I saw that night.
Yes.
I saw khakis, golf shirts. We all looked like we came out of the same barrel.
Yeah.
But not the women.
No, the women had their Louboutins on and they were strutting it.
You ever see a guy say to another guy, "Hey, I really like your shoes"?
Rarely.
But the women, it was like a shoe show.
Yes. Yeah, we were all comparing shoes. Who had red soles on? It was fun.
So being a native of Moore County, since 1999, I really appreciated what I saw. And it's interesting that at this table, Nicole, you have Brooklyn roots, and Michele, you have South Philadelphia roots, which we got a chance a little bit to talk about. You actually went to school in Philadelphia.
Went to school in Philadelphia.
Tell me your background story and how you got here to Moore County.
Well, I went to school in Philadelphia through college. I went through college. I went to Drexel, and that's where I met my husband Ray. He was in Hahnemann medical school there.
Right.
We met, and he became a soldier. He went through medical school with the military, and then we traveled for a lot of years after that. After he finished residency, we did a little bit of time in D.C. and came over here to more regional for a lot of years. And he worked as an anesthesiologist. And as people get older, we raised 4 children. We did a lot of charity work. We've done a lot of things over the years together.
How long have you been in Moore County?
23 years.
Have you really?
Yeah.
So you have me beat. You came here in 97, 96?
Yeah, we had our twins in 95
Okay.
and came right as they were born. I had 2 children before. We had our twins and then came here and have lived here ever since.
So the inspiration for, to talk about the inspiration for the med spa, where did it come from? And I love people who reinvent themselves as they go. Not everybody does.
No.
That's about us. That's what we've done several times. As in our 40s, we started running. We ran half marathons, and then we ventured into a marathon. We just try new things, and then we share them with people. We get excited, and then that's what we talk about, and we play off of each other. We're pretty lucky in that respect. And as we got older, we started thinking, what do we want to do next? The fields of medicine. We started talking about life changing and how I was feeling different getting older, and him too, and we thought, how can we enhance our lives and other people's? And as we started thinking what we can do in our life, we thought, let's make it happen. And we talked about opening up med spa, and then it stopped for a while. Enter how we
Okay.
became
Enter
friends.
for me.
So tell me the story, because normally if we're going to talk about a new business, it's unusual that we have someone who has a separate business who's a stager, but there's a serendipity about how you met and what has happened, where now you've sort of like had a marriage of sorts. Can you?
We're married.
We are.
Yay!
We're friends.
Yeah, it's a cool story because I'll start out that I was running my business, and then my business kind of took off, and I went into almost panic zone being a military wife, mother of 3 small children, and no family here. And I was like, what am I going to do? How am I going to find somebody to help me with my children? And you hear of care.com, but as a parent, maybe I'm that parent, but I was nervous. I was like, I don't want to go on care.com and try to find somebody to watch my children. But I finally gave in, and I was like, I'm going to do this. Set up a profile. So I set up my profile, and as ironic as it is, she says the same thing about me that I say about her. There was something about reading what she wrote that, like, instantly, it was like she was a mom of 4. She understood. She had been through the military life. It was like all of these checks were there. And I was like, I have to call her. And the crazy thing is she read my profile in only hours. And so we connected. And
I've never babysat. Even as a kid, I never watched anybody's children. I just really missed having little ones. I have 4 children who are now grown. I've got one in Chapel Hill, one at App State, and 2 older than that. And she's 3 blonde, little, adorable children who I hate saying I feel like a grandma because I don't want to feel that old, but I do. I love her kids. And we met, and we just sort of connected. And then Ray met them, and it's like, I'm babysitting these children, and we got to be friends. And I said, well, she's like, what do you want to do with your life? I mean, I've had a degree. I've worked in Ray's business all these years. And I said, well, really, we talked about a med spa. And then she said, I've built a med spa.
So when we started talking, it was really like, it was funny because they were asking me, well, how did you build your business? And I said, I had 10 minutes a day. That's all I had. I had 10 minutes. And Bill Zahadi's one of the first agents I ever called, and I asked him out for coffee, and that's how I built my business, was calling agents, telling them what I wanted to do, and this concept that I had already knew was working in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's like I go in, I bring furniture or redesign spaces and help them sell.
Right.
So she was like, and you did this in 10 minutes a day. And I was like, yeah. And it's all about being driven and having a passion for something. And so then she was like, well, we do have a passion, but we kind of hit the brakes on it. This is our passion. We're getting older, we know that, but we don't feel mentally old. Like physically, sometimes our bodies hurt, and we're like, there are ways to combat that.
Yeah.
And so when we started talking about the science of it, because me having a nursing background, we started talking about the science of aging and how aging is really something that you don't have to do. I mean, you really don't. There are things now in science that can help us with our metabolism, with how our body balances hormones when we don't normally get them anymore, your cognate levels of your mentality, and all these things. So as we start chatting, I was like, this is something that I feel like the community needs. And she's saying, all of our friends are saying, we need this, we want this. And so then we decided to start putting a pen to a piece of paper.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, in a lot of ways, what you're both describing is a microcosm of what has happened in Moore County in the last 15 years. How networks get to intermingle. The nature of Moore County has changed so much. You were here in the mid-'90s, so you can appreciate it, Michele, as much as I can. So you guys kind of meet, not happenstance, but maybe a little bit. And what comes out of it is a new business, a new chapter. And that's what's so cool about Moore County, because there's so many entrepreneurs here, independent business people who have come from all over the country, not just from the South. And connections are made. I mean, we have Brooklyn, Philadelphia, and Northern New Jersey sitting at this table.
Yeah.
God forbid, right?
But that's what I love about it. It's like a true melting pot. And that's why when I moved here from Scottsdale, I missed that.
Yeah.
In Scottsdale, Arizona, I felt like there was a melting pot there. And I feel like, I told her I'm almost in a time capsule. I feel like Pinehurst is the same thing. We have all of these different cultures moving in here, from the military and all the first responders that are moving in, and then people that are just looking for change. And I love that. I love that we're getting to see all these cultures and age dynamics come together.
Michele, go ahead. I was going to cut you.
No, I was going to say, and when we looked at the med spas, at what was available in this area, what we found was that it was all very specific. There wasn't anything unique. You had to go to LA, or you had to go to New York or Scottsdale to get any of the specials. Everybody can get the same thing here. So what we like to say about Juvo is New York, LA had a baby, and we're calling it Juvo because we're bringing in all the things from the both coasts that are unique, and that's what's making us special. And what we're really doing is we're listening to what people want, and then we investigate it and we make it happen. And that's why we have things that nobody else has, and when they come through, we offer it.
So I have two thoughts. One is, the reason you hooked up with Nicole was really not about her kids, but you were taken by her shyness and thought you would take her under your wing and help her along
We're both
to socialize. That's number one.
Yeah.
You know, I'm being mentored by somebody who's a lot of years younger than me and is teaching me more than I thought that I needed to learn, but I sure am learning a lot. It's like I'm lucky.
So here's a second thought. I can hear with what you just said about New York and LA, and you took what both areas had and you had a baby, and it was Juvo. So here's what I can hear layman men saying. Oh my God, this is going to be so expensive, and now my spouse or my significant other is going to have to start buying these emollient-rich soaps that are like $15 or $20 a bar. Oh my God, this is just going to... How do you address the misperception of the high expense sometimes that's associated with what you're offering?
Well, first of all, we love the military, and we do a military.
Okay.
We take care of the military. There's always a military discount.
And first responders.
And first responders, because we feel that these people take care of us, and we take care of them.
Right.
We want that to be always known that that we're there to take care of them.
Okay.
And when they come in, I think that the sticker shock goes away instantly.
Right.
Because, I mean, for somebody that has frequented very high-end med spas, I've seen variable price points. And that was a big thing when we had talked about bringing in such high-end technology, because there was a price tag. And we talked about it, and they know, because they've lived a military life, they've lived with that paycheck. So they understood what that was like. And I said, even though you're bringing in hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in technology, the price point can't be that high. Okay. People want to see a good price point, and they've done it. They've risen up.
Yeah.
We're going to, in the second set, we're going to come back and we're going to go through the specific services that are offered for women, offered for men, and you guys are going to educate me and you're going to give me a test at the end of the show,
Sweet.
and we'll see how much I've retained, because I want to learn about it. But before we go to break, I do want to say, in getting together, so Nicole, I did meet you earlier on,
Yeah.
but I also Googled you.
Yes.
And so I thought to myself, is this a misprint? And then I didn't think it was a misprint until I met you. You were a former Miss United States.
Yes.
Can you tell us just...
That Google, right?
Help
Gets
me
you
out.
every time.
Yeah.
Yes, I was. I won Miss Arizona in 2005, and then I went on and competed for the national title and won the national title. So, I mean, it feels like so long ago, although it was a really cool chapter, and it was a great platform for me to actually start a nonprofit organization was what I did with it. But yeah, 2005 was the year that really changed my life on many levels, because it allowed me to not only personally open up, but got me really involved with my community and really involved with rheumatoid arthritis, which is something very close to my heart. So that's a whole nother chapter.
Why?
Well, because my best friend has rheumatoid arthritis, my aunt has rheumatoid arthritis, my stepsister has it. So there was this big gap. There's a lot of knowledge about juvenile rheumatoid arthritis and it in the elderly, but nothing right in the middle for young adults. And I saw what my best friend had gone through, and that there really wasn't any type of social group for them at all.
Yeah.
Even doctors were kind of scratching their head. So I made it my platform to start an organization that's still alive today. I think we have I think there's 50,000 followers or 55,000 followers.
We have topics. We're going to talk about Juvo MedSpa. We're going to talk about your staging business in the second set. And Michele, you're doing a good job bringing her out, by the way. I can
Thank
see
you.
that. Good job.
Well,
Shake
you
me
know
up,
what?
Michele.
And I'm really glad that you brought up
Oh,
the,
it's so
the
obvious
Miss
to
United
me.
States,
Yeah.
because early on, as friends, she told me that she'd put her crown in our spa, and now she won't do it. And I said, well, because nobody would really care. So I keep saying, well, if I get enough people liking it on Facebook, will you bring it in? And she tells me it's ridiculous. So if I can get enough people saying that they want to see this crown in there, she'll put that as a piece of decor in our in my lobby.
It'll be good for her social training, too.
I think so,
yeah.
too.
We're going to
So-
be right back. This is All Things Moore County.
Sit on the edge, and I'll be close enough. My hands on my knees. And I won't make that.
Welcome back to All Things Moore County. Speaking with Michele Lupkas from Juvo MedSpa and Nicole Swafford from Complete Home Staging, and to talk a little bit about their relationship and what the new business is and what it looks like. And we're going to get into the look of the property. It's quite beautiful. I want to get some specifics about what can people find? What are the things that you're so excited about that people can find at Juvo MedSpa that they can't get anywhere else?
I'll open it up with saying one thing. We have amazing people who work with us, our team.
Yeah.
And they can make everybody look and feel beautiful. But our belief is that if you feel good on the inside, it is so much easier to look beautiful and look great on the outside. So we're big believers in feeling great. And so that's where we start with.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you want to
Yeah,
give a
well,
little bit
I
about
think
that?
that the one thing that you guys offer that is very unique, I mean, every room, like I've said this when I talk to people, every room, it's like a fun house. Every room has something unique that they offer that nobody else does. But if we're going to dive into a couple things, I would say that the HTCA, which is the Hormone Therapy Centers of America, which is the company that you guys use for your pellets, is very unique in the fact that it's hormone replacement, but it's bioidentical, which is not like what you get when you normally go to the doctor and they read your levels and they either say you're completely normal, which is what they said to me, you're completely normal, there's nothing wrong with your blood work, sent me on my way with a prescription for antidepressants. That's literally what my doctor did. And I've even gone back into my doctor's office and have told them what my experience was with HTCA with Juvo MedSpa. It's simple. It's simple, black and white. So if you get down to what you do, you go into any lab you like, go into LabCorp, they do your blood draw, and then they pull your values of what your blood shows, right? So everybody kind of knows how that works. Once you get your values, let's say that for me, my testosterone was really low. Now, my doctor felt like it was fine, but call me a hoarder, which I don't feel like I am, but my medical records I keep. And when I went back, I realized that my testosterone was a lot higher, especially when I was in my 20s, which is normal.
Yeah.
Everything kind of decreases as we get older. But because my testosterone had tanked, I felt horrible. I couldn't sleep through the night. And it wasn't even a hot sweat thing, because that's what they asked me. It wasn't that for me. I was restless. I would just toss and turn, couldn't get comfortable. My feet would hurt me. Every time I would step, it felt like I almost had, just foot pain. There's no other place to explain it. So what I did is when I went in and got my blood draw done with Juvo MedSpa, they enlightened me to what lab values really mean. And as somebody that was clinically a nurse, I thought that I understood it, and I didn't. I realized that most labs cut out the top 10%, which is elderly. It's important now. We're living longer.
Right.
And the bottom percentage, which is a smaller percentage of infants, which I kind of understand because infants, it's not really a hormone thing.
Right.
But finding that information out and understanding that this company actually incorporates all those values, then I understood why they actually could see my levels were wrong and that I was deficient in some major things. So come to find out, testosterone's low, vitamin D was low, and I needed to have my thyroid evaluated.
Okay.
So once I went to Juvo and got all that done, they did what's called bioidentical pelleting. They literally take these tiny little pellets and they put them in the uppermost part of your buttock. In a tiny little incision, they put these little pellets in there, and what's inside of them is, for me, was testosterone. And it was just a small amount, but just enough that my body can pull and draw from it what it needs when it needs it, so I don't get a spike or a valley. And I'm now balanced in my hormones.
So are these like supplements to offset a deficiency? Is that a way to...
If you want to look at it from that way, sure, yes. I mean, but it's not a supplement. It's actually genetically engineered, with the lack of better terms, bioidentical hormone to what humans make. It's not synthetic from an animal. It's no animal derivative.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about the side effects of horse urine or any other animal synthetic.
You know, I wasn't worried about the side effects of horse urine all day until you mentioned it.
You know what?
Now I'm going to be thinking about it all day.
Female,
No.
you probably should be.
Women do, yeah.
First of all, there's something that people often say, I'm a woman, why do I really care about testosterone? That's a guy thing.
Right.
Actually, this blew me away, but women, 3,000 things in a female's body are controlled. 3,000 things in a woman's body are controlled by testosterone. So for me, I'm older. When in my younger days, my testosterone level was 200. That's normal for a female.
Okay.
When they reran it before I got my levels done 16 weeks ago, it was 4.
4?
1, 2, 3, 4. And that is typical for a female of my age. So what happens to these 3,000 things that were being controlled? Well, I don't sleep through the night. I feel fuzzy brained. There's a lot of things that were going on that weren't normal, but according to my doctor, I was
normal for your age.
Normal. I was typical for my age. So, okay, there's nothing wrong with me. And do I want antidepressants? No, I don't want antidepressants. So since I did this, now as I said before, I was a runner, and it feels like my body is getting in sync. I started this 16 weeks ago. I am dropping weight like crazy.
Tell them how much you've lost, because she doesn't boast about this, but I think it's huge.
I've lost 30 pounds. I am not trying. It is like dropping off in the midsection. I can't scientifically...
You have dropped 30 pounds without trying to diet?
No. Yeah. In fact, I'm probably
she increased her water intake, which was a good thing, but that was it. I mean, really,
I'm eating crummies at times because now I opened up a spa. So there's times I'm not eating dinner until 10 o'clock at night, and I'm eating takeout more than I've ever done in my life. But but it puts your body in sync to what your body needs to be.
Okay.
And so for me, and I'm giving you the female side of it, and so is she.
Yeah.
She can also talk to you a little bit on the guy's side, because we started the whole investigating hormones because we had men asking us too about it.
And that was an interesting thing, is that when we started talking about HTCA and bioidentical hormones, we had discovered that women, it's 3,000 properties in women that testosterone controls, but only about 300 in men. It's a huge difference. And it's like, I didn't know that.
Right.
But with that being said, a lot of my friends are first responders. A lot of my friends are military.
Right.
And a lot of them have these insane jobs that they have to go out and fight a fire, right, for 17 hours, and then they happen to be off the next day, and they just got to be a dad. So they're doing these insane, and military too. You know, these men and women are out there doing these insane jobs where they're rucking with 50 to 100 pounds on their back and then having to recover just like that and then do it again. And so they are turning to other synthetic derivatives to help their body get back to where it used to be, or just maintain some level of homeostasis in their body. But they're doing it through places that aren't safe.
I've had some experience in the past with chiropractors who were licensed, certified, applied kinesiologists, and one of the things that they would prescribe over time were adrenal supplements.
Sure.
Because sometimes you find when people are fatigued and down, their adrenals are low.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a supplement, but the hormone replacement that you're talking about is not any side effects.
No, and that's the one thing that I was a little leery about until I found out more about the company. It's bioidentical. So when you break those two words down, it is literally identical to what my body makes.
Okay.
So there's no possibility that my body would reject it in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
And how it's genetically derived is plant-based. So we don't have to worry about anything there as well. And the incision's very tiny. They go inside the body and then they're closed up. So
Okay.
there's no possibility of having an issue with what's being put in.
Okay, this is interesting for me to hear because it's the first time I've ever heard it.
And they're time release.
And it's been around since the 30s, so it's not like it's new. And for me, I was a pharmaceutical rep back in the day, and I was approached by companies when they started this, and I was like, honestly, there's no way that pharmaceutical reps are going to make money by this. There's no way they're ever going to pick it up. And that's the first thing I thought of from the capital standpoint.
Okay.
And they won't, because there's no way to make an insane amount of money with this. It's really more about making you feel the best you can possibly feel.
Okay.
And people say to me all the time, well, you got so much energy and you're in such great shape. And I literally point to my butt. And I'm sure that they're probably wondering why I'm doing that, but that's why. It's because I am now hormone balanced.
The menu, and it looks like a menu, reads, I mean, it's like there's so much stuff on here. Talked about a couple of other programs that you offer. I'm looking at
Should we do
laser
the throne?
treatments.
Emcella.
Our throne. We call it the throne. The Emcella chair. We should tell them.
Emcella. Okay.
Yeah.
What is that?
I'll show you the picture. Because it just, looks non-invasive, right? Lady just sitting
Lady
on a chair.
just sitting, crossing her legs.
On a chair.
A breakthrough treatment for incontinence.
Incontinence, yeah. So for me, as somebody who's had 3 children, when you have a child, or even if you don't, and there's still what's called stress incontinence and urge incontinence. There's 2 types.
Right.
I learned a lot by becoming a designer of this piece. I'm telling you one thing. I had to learn the rooms really well. But this technology has brought a way to restore what has been lost in incontinence control in a chair. And you literally sit in it fully clothed for 30 minutes, and it does over 11,000 Kegels. Now, for somebody that was told by my doctor to do like 100 Kegels a day, and I got to like 9 on a good day because I kept doing them wrong. They tell me, you're doing them wrong. And I'm like, well, I feel like I'm doing them right. To have a machine that you literally sit down on.
It does it for you.
And it does it for you. And you know that it's being done right for men and women. I mean, men have sat on it because it's for men, it's for women. It does the same thing, but it actually also enhances for men. It kind of does a little bit extra on the male spectrum. But it's a great machine that offers something that's non-invasive. You don't have to have a probe. You can just sit down fully clothed.
During your grand opening, it seemed to draw the biggest crowd.
It was, yeah.
And the greatest reaction.
Yeah.
I remember somebody was sitting there, and she was texting as she was sitting on the chair.
Yeah.
Just doing what she's doing.
Yeah, that's what I do. When I go in for my treatments, I usually sit there with my cell phone and I'll catch up on social media or I'll post before and after pictures, and it's like 30 minutes of me time.
Okay.
But I'm being able to finally do what my doctor urged me to do for a while, but I didn't have an hour and a half every day to go in for physical therapy. Most women don't. And
Right.
this is something that you can fit in your lunch hour, and it really works. We have people going back to CrossFit, doing box jumps, jumping rope, running with friends, and they're not urinating every time
They can
do it.
laugh without,
They can laugh without urinating.
clutching their legs together or sneezing and running to the other room, which is an issue for women. I mean, and I guess men too, but I just know as a female, we don't want to have to live like that anymore. Now we don't have to.
Right.
Yeah.
So
These
and there's
Yeah,
only
I-
two
we
of
got you.
them.
Haha.
Sorry. And this was a very recently FDA approved, I think in November.
Yeah.
And there are only two of them in North Carolina. In
Is that
fact,
right?
when we bought it, we had to go to Florida to experience it. And it was only by pure luck that we learned about it. We were actually looking at our body sculpting, which we bought from a company called BTL, and it's the next level of body sculpting. So while we were looking at that, we found out that they were going to be bringing this MCell out, so we were like on the forefront of, you know what, I'm interested in it. So I was able to get that. We were able to get that
A brand new
when-
FDA
a brand new one,
approved
when nobody
device
else was
nobody
able
else
to get
has.
it. Yeah.
The two categories you're talking about fall under the title Med Aesthetics.
Yep.
But you also have the Juvo Spa, permanent makeup. There are separate services, a menu for women. There are separate services for men, and a boutique. There are so many different categories under Med Aesthetics. Can this flyer that you gave me, can it be found online?
Yeah, it can be found on the website. And in
okay.
addition to that, I mean, underneath each umbrella, there's so many additional services. We literally
Right.
couldn't fit everything on a menu.
Right.
But yes, all of their stuff can be found at www.juvomedspa.com.
Right.
And we love to give tours. Anybody who wants to come in.
I think the tour is the best because
Yeah,
it's
just come in.
hard you can't understand technology you've never seen before.
Right.
And I feel like once people come into the med spa and walk through each room and understand what each room's capacity is,
Right.
that's when you get the idea of what makes this med spa truly unique. It's not facials and massages, which they do and they're awesome at, but it's true artistry in their 3D micro needling and 3D micropigmentation for heads. They do everything. They do IV therapy. They have lash and brow tint. There's a female shot for females, which can help them not only climax but change their way that their body is femininely put together. Essentially,
Right.
we can plump and change areas. The same thing goes for men. So it's not only from the aesthetic spot, but it's also coming from the medical end that they can do both.
Okay.
So there are people coming in for really fun and like smiling when they say the fun part because there's definitely a lot of stuff. And then for men, I mean, there's back facials, body contouring packages, the bioidentical.
Did you say back facial?
Back facial, yeah. And it's
Wait.
back.
Help me out.
Physically, your back. Like so many men break out on their back or
Yeah.
have a lot of hair.
Yeah.
And they can never actually clean their back. Like you think,
Right.
when you think about it, follicles.
Right.
Are interrupting skin, right? So if you can actually have somebody do a back facial, I didn't realize how awesome they were until the
Yeah.
men started coming in for them, and they're like, "No, this is like life changing. I never thought it's like the first time you go get a pedicure." I'm like, "Well, I didn't think about back facials for men, but
And you get
Michele.
massage too.
Yes.
So it's like, it's not just we're washing your back. You get this amazing massage during it. It's just relaxing.
Let's come back in the next set. Time. I know we're going to run out of time today. We're going to talk about some more of the services. I want to talk about the beauty of the office and what you've done, Nicole.
Sure.
This is All Things More County. We'll be right back.
There's
Welcome back to our final set, talking about Juvo MedSpa and some of the services and the varied services that they offer. I think we could probably have 2 or 3 shows on it. Before we go into some more specifics, because I really want to, I want to talk about the process, Nicole, that this was an opportunity for you that you might not have ever thought was going to come your way as a home stager.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I really never thought about the commercial aspect of it. I've done it before in the past when I lived in Scottsdale. I've done med spas, I've done tanning spas, but I never really thought about it here until we started talking. And it was great because this building was, like you said, a forgotten building. It just sat there on the corner. It had this green carpet and 7 layers of wallpaper, and it was just sad. It was a sad little building, and thank goodness that when I brought them into the building, I just said, please have an open mind and just try to close your eyes and envision what I envision. Because I opened up doorways and closed windows and shifted things around and brought in chandeliers and really made it absolutely stunning. But it was I wouldn't say it's outside of my scope, because I feel like I love design so much that I can make anything beautiful, even the ugliest things I find beauty in. But it was a challenge. It was a challenge because I had to grow personally to get to know these services so that I could build the rooms right. I think that was one of the biggest challenges for me, was educating myself enough to understand what hair restoration meant, that there's blood that's being drawn and then re-injected into the head to grow hair. Like, how do you set the room up for that? Right. So there's so many design aspects, and then in addition to state requirements. So it was interesting that I had to really learn the practice. I got to learn about the fit, which I think was cool technology. They're using infrared to help you burn out toxins, regenerate collagen. I mean, there's so much science to what they were doing, but I needed to make sure that the room was outfitted for the right outlets and the right setup. And it was, I mean, I had fun. I enjoyed doing it.
We offer medical expertise, but in a spa setting. So we're not taking away that we are definitely offering, on the medical side, medical expertise. So we have to be very specific about that. But the place is downright gorgeous. I mean, you just have to come in and see it.
So when you walk in the door, you walk from one, it's like a time machine. You walk in and it's circa 1970 something.
Pretty much.
You open the door and you walk in, and all of a sudden you're transported to a different place, and you forget where the outside was. When you do a home, a staging of a home, you're not changing as much of the function of the home as you are trying to present it in its best functional light.
Sure.
So this is sort of on steroids. What you did.
Yeah, it really was. And you're right, because I always, with home design, it's different. I always make sure that the outside of the house rolls into the inside, because I feel like it's sad when you look at a craftsman and you walk in and it's modern contemporary and they're like, so I try to, but in this environment, I was given carte blanche, and I was able to create the type of spa that I wanted to see. And that I felt like my friends and our community members from 70 to 20 were all saying the same thing. There's not a high-end, beautiful med spa here. And that's what we created. And then we brought in unique products like the TCH, which is the hemp products. That's huge right now. And I think that the lack of education is what holds back hemp products. But you guys have worked so diligently to educate your staff on what hemp is. There are no hallucinogenic qualities in hemp. Hemp is one of the only things that has such a balance in its natural state, and it can give you stress relief. It can calm tense muscles. It can work even to the highest end of working with children that have really horrible cases of seizures. I mean, hemp is really amazing technology, and the fact that it's natural and that you can have a protein bar and get 12 grams of protein and it tastes delicious, but you're still getting all these great qualities in it.
Yeah, you talk about hemp for pain control.
Yeah.
But you also, we were talking at one of the breaks about you have some infrared technology that also helps, especially for people with tight muscles.
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Fibromyalgia, it really works with so many different
things.
Because
I have a stiff neck. I would like to drop off at your office, and then I'd like to pick it
Pick
up
up
in
your
2
stiff
days.
neck that's
Just
loosened.
call
Yeah.
me. I'll come by. I'll pick it up and put it back on, and I'll go back to work.
All you have to do is come down for about an hour, and you'll probably fall asleep if you choose to.
You don't have a drop-off
chill.
service?
No drop off.
For parts of your anatomy?
Yeah.
Well,
We're working on
we
it.
could arrange that maybe.
We're working on it. We need a cryo.
Okay.
But yeah, the fit technology with the body wrap system. I had done fit in the past, but I'd only done the mummy wrap, which is where they do the real tight wrap.
Right.
This is like the Cadillac of that same technology, where they actually wrap you in an infrared sack. How do you explain it? I mean, it's like you're in this infrared sleeping bag, and you're wrapped up in these, and it's based on the season of what type of herbs and detox that they use, but it literally takes your body, helps to detoxify, remove all the toxins, regenerate, collagen boost, and pain management. I mean, for people that has rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, any type of severe muscle aches, I encourage you, come in. I mean, even if you just take a sample at it, you have to. It's amazing technology.
And all of the stuff that you're talking about, this is not treated with meds.
No.
So it's a natural...
It's a natural approach.
Okay.
But with a medical director. I mean,
Right.
you have a doctor or a physician there that looks over your records and can tell you what the best route is. And our team can do it too. Well, she was saying there's a cool stat in here, and it does say the pain relief that in a 2008 study, so it tells you that this company's been around for quite some time, found that chronic pain patients experience nearly 70% reduction in pain levels after their first infrared session. 70%. That's pretty significant.
So that's very appealing to me right now. Right now, I would take 30%.
Sure. I mean, and you
It's
didn't
the
see
truth.
Bill on the break, but he was really he's like, I can't move my neck.
Yeah.
But from,
Tired of it. And when you have pain, when you have pain, it takes over everything. It drains you.
Yes.
And you all of a sudden you're open to anything just to help alleviate some of it.
well, and this is one thing that I would say is that the body is a complete package, and you might treat your neck, but
Yeah.
your neck might be because of something totally different.
That's right.
So you need to find out how to create a balance. And we all talk about balance, which is the hardest thing to do. But one of the easiest things I've ever done was balance my hormones. And that's like, I always talk about, even with my team and my designers, find a balance in life. That's really hard. And it's a word we throw out there. But when there's science that can help you, that's kind of been the game changer for me, is being able to balance out the beauty aspect of going in, and you guys have seen my videos, I get my lips plumped, and that's fun,
I
and
saw
that's
that.
exciting.
Yep.
I love that there's no downtime. I got my stomach done. I keep myself in good shape, but there's always been this little stubborn layer of fat. And to have this, it felt like a warm, hot stone massage. I mean, it was relaxing, if anything. And then to shed off that extra fat, my body literally it brought it up to a level of heat that it metabolized. I was like, check, please. I'm in here. I'm probably in there every couple days getting a new treatment done. I'm a little.
I love it.
But it's great.
You know what I find so interesting? If you look at Nicole's home staging card, complete home staging, at the bottom she says declutter, organize, and simplify. And now she's talking about physical spaces. But at Juvo MedSpa, you're also talking about decluttering, organizing, and simplifying, except your own space,
That's true.
yourself. So there's kind of a synergy there.
Yeah, it's true. I feel like once you find a way to make your body feel better and find a
Right.
different route, that was a big game changer for me, was finding an alternate route to
Yeah.
what we could do.
You were talking earlier about the hormones,
Oh, yeah.
and as a layman, I think invasive. You've sort of nipped that in the bud. But there's a relationship between the hormone treatment and migraine headaches.
There is. And, well, first of all, with the hormones, with the pellets, what's amazing for women is we get them, are repelleting. You get them injected, and it's about 4 months until you need them again. So you don't have to worry about it again. And in men, it's 5 to 6 months. So it's easy. I mean, it's not a daily.
It's like twice a year.
Yeah, twice a year. But there's a big relationship. There's many studies now being done on the relationship on PTSD and how bioidentical hormones are supporting people with PTSD. And now with migraines, the numbers are really significant on how they help. And a lot of women, I was unaware of this, suffer with migraines and how they help with migraines. Now, I'm not guaranteeing anything. I could just produce these studies and show you the white papers.
It makes sense even from somebody that's had migraines. I noticed that when my hormones would be at a change at that time of the month was the only time I would get a migraine. So you understand where there's a correlation there where it could be hormone sensitive. And then when we talked about PTSD and how first responders are really struggling. They're coming back from deployments, men and women, seeing stuff, experiencing things that they just can't wrap their head around, right? And but they've realized that it's not even so much the experience, it's the fact that their bodies are being broken down when they're on these missions from somebody driving the ambulance to somebody, first responding in Afghanistan. And it's tearing their bodies apart. And as these men and women get older, their hormones dip, the PTSD gets worse. So if you can get the hormones back up to a normal level, it really has been shown in studies to help PTSD dramatically. So that's, that we can't say that anything fixes anything because we would love to say that it's the cure-all. But I encourage anyone to ask questions within the military because we do have a lot of military members that are coming in for all different types of services. And we have a lot of first responders that are coming in now, and they are really advocates for how they're feeling. It's like the weight is in their smiles, I guess.
I love it. We get phone calls from people who said, I was pelleted, 4 days ago. I can't believe, and they'll say something in their life that's different. And that is really exciting to me, not being a medical person. I'm not used to somebody coming in and saying that they're feeling great. And so,
in reading your flyer, this complimentary consultation that you offer will do more than 1,000 words, whether it be on radio, just to be able to walk through and to expose people to the services that you offer. You should invite the whole world in. They should just come.
They're invited.
Come. What is it? What is a consult? How long does it take to walk through? 30 minutes, 20 minutes?
Yeah, about there. And it matters on if they want, and they usually want to try things. So then that can tack on a little bit of time if they want to sit on the Emcella chair for 10 minutes and kind of get a feel for it. But usually about 20 minutes is more than enough time. And then they are given an opportunity to see if they want to follow up with an appointment. Just looking at before and after images of their threading that they're doing there, the what we're calling, the lunchtime facelift.
We didn't even mention
that. There's so much. There's just I encourage you to come in and just see what the facility has to offer.
That's under the spa umbrella, the Juvo Spa. The things you were just
it's
really?
that's medical.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's the before and afters for threading.
Unbelievable.
It's kind of like we tell people if you look in the mirror and you pull the side of your face back and you like what you see, you're like, I wish that it just looked like that. Threading is your answer. Because there are these little tiny micro threads. They go under the skin, and all they do is just gently taut the skin back.
Anti-gravity.
I mean, you can get anything done.
Minimal hurt.
And I've got my booty done. I can talk to that camera and say, but I told him, I was like, I've never had a butt ever. I mean, we can laugh about it. Yeah. She got her lips done.
I got my lips done, so now that they have more of a Cupid bow, I'm kind of excited about that.
Yeah, there's so much that can be done, and all that's left behind is a collagen membrane. So they used to use it in cardiac procedures.
Right.
That's all that's left is just a little bit of this collagen production.
And it'll dissolve, but as it dissolves, the collagen is forming and giving
Lifting
you a lift.
it a lift.
You okay? Juvo MedSpa. No. We have you have a Facebook page. You're on Instagram.
Yep.
Your website is www.juvomedspa.com. You offer complimentary consultations, and it should, I mean, you've only been open now a couple of weeks?
Yeah, 3
May.
weeks.
In May.
In May
Yeah.
we opened.
Yeah. And you guys, you tell a great story about how you met and what's happening going forward, which I think is really cool. And I am going to come down and I'm going to, you can talk me through this infrared machine. And again, if you're not successful, here's what I'll do. I will leave you my neck. I'll come back and I'll pick it up in 3 days.
Just take the neck.
Yeah.
Just wrap
take
it in
it.
ice,
Yeah.
and I'll come back and pick it up.
Hey, you might be our first experiment on that one.
I might be,
We
huh?
have to have you sign a waiver.
Just have a pickup window for me when I
Okay.
come back.
Here's your neck.
It's Juvo MedSpa. It's a beautiful, for all the realtors in Moore County who are very familiar with this building, and there are many.
Yeah, please come through.
They would come through and they would think they were transported to another time. That's how beautiful the building is.
Well, thank you.
I
and
wish-
I urge them to come through. That
Yeah,
would be great.
I wish you both the best of luck.
Really, Nicole did an amazing job, I have to say. I'm not moving anytime soon, but when my house needs to be staged,
Right.
I know who's doing it.
Yay.
Yeah. And thanks for all the work you're doing with her from her shyness point of view, because I see a big difference in
Bring me out
her.
of my shell.
And one
Yeah.
more thing, please
Yes.
remember, we want the crown to go with our Emcelis, so you have to tell her that we want to see the crown in our spa.
Here's my thing. If you get 100 shares of any of the 3 videos, I will bring the crown in, and they can put it on while they do the Emcella treatment on the throne. There you go.
It's Juvo MedSpa, and you can call the office at 910-725-0134 and meet Michele and Dr. Ray Lupkas and meet Nicole Swafford of Complete Home Staging. Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you
Best
for
of
having
luck.
us.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week. Thank you.